In the late 1980s, I moved to Washington, D.C., and the Redskins won the Super Bowl. In the 90s, I moved to New Orleans, and the Saints, in fairly short order, won the Super Bowl, and they've only won one. About 18 months ago, I moved to Philadelphia, and the Eagles won the Super Bowl, and they've never won before. And I just moved to Cleveland. I told this story when I first arrived in Cleveland to the editor of the Cleveland Plain Dealer, who listened very intently, never cracked a smile, looked straight at me and said, "If the Browns win 4 games, you're the mayor." Where's the mayor? Mr. Mayor, this is the job I want. But I still want the Browns to win. Thank you, David. Thank you for the generous introduction. I am privileged, honored, and humbled, and inspired to be here as Cleveland State University's 7th president. And I'm overwhelmed to look out at everyone who has joined us. Today, we celebrate our university and those who have come before us, who built the foundation on which we stand. Today is a day of promise and potential, a day in which we reflect on where we have been, where we are, and where we are going forward together. My sincere thanks go out to our Board of Trustees, our Chair, David Gunning, whose guidance and partnership I so value, June, Terry, Steve, Len, David, Deborah, and Dan Moore and Tom Adler, who couldn't be with us today. Professors Duffy and Bowen, students Erica Betterson and John DeMarco, and our great community board members, I thank you all for entrusting me with this responsibility. And of course, former board chair Bernie Moreno, where's Bernie? He's there, there he is, all the way on the left, I might add, who along with our board and the entire university community helped bring me and my family here. To President Emeritus Ron Berkman, who took our university to great heights, I thank you. Some of you may not know that Ron was my first boss in academia. Ron, I am forever grateful that you took a chance on me, so thank you. Thank you also to President Emeritus Michael Schwartz, who has been so gracious with his time and counsel and deserves much of the credit for where our university is today. Thank you, Michael. Thank you both. I'd also like to recognize Tom Handel, who is sitting over there. Tom, would you please stand? I know he doesn't want to do this, but I'm going to make him do it. Tom taught me how things worked in the Pentagon in the late 80s, where I made coffee for admirals as a young lieutenant and learned what leadership is all about. So thank you, Tom. To Presidents Eli Capilouto and Mark Rosenberg, I wouldn't be standing here without your support, guidance, and extreme tolerance levels for the unbridled energy and passion that I brought into your lives every day during my formative years. You both know what I mean. Thank you both. And to Mayor Frank Jackson and all the elected officials that are here today to show us how important CSU is to the fabric of our community. I also want to say a special thanks to our education partners in Cleveland, Alex Johnson, president of Cuyahoga Community College, Eric Gordon, CEO of Cleveland Metropolitan School District, and Barbara Snyder, president of Case Western University. I'd also like to recognize area presidents who have joined us today, Jay Gershon from Neomed, he's also the IUC chair, and Marcia Ballinger from Lorain County Community College. To the faculty, staff, and students here today, please know how much this means to me, how honored I am to serve with you in advancing the mission of public higher education for all of our citizens. Now, to my parents, sisters, friends, and former colleagues who traveled from near and far to be with us today, thank you. And finally, to my wife, Lynn, and our children, Samson and AJ, thank you for always standing by me, for making me better, and for your constant motivation in all of its forms. My wife, Lynn, and I met on our first days as public defenders in Miami, and I knew from the first minute I met her that she was much smarter than I. Nothing's changed since. The smartest thing I did in my life was to sit next to her that day. I love you. Thank you. I grew up in a small town of Wantaw on Long Island, New York. My dad worked as a weatherman for the National Weather Service at night. He was a substitute teacher during the days that he was called. Once the kids got older, Mom, with a high school education, built a successful children's clothing consignment business in the basement of our house. She did so well, she opened up a neighborhood store. All of us kids helped her with her business. I also had a newspaper route. I delivered newspapers door to door. That's where I learned about hard work, perseverance, resilience, different breeds of dogs that bite, forgiveness, humor, and gratitude. I have always liked big challenges with big opportunities attached. When I graduated college and the Navy sent me to Washington, D.C., I decided to get an MBA and a law degree at night because it was a challenge that held big opportunities. It took me 6 years, much like many of our CSU students who work in order to attend college. I feel you because I was you. When I left the military, I became a public defender. There I learned humility, selfless sacrifice, dedication to those who have very few of the advantages that most of us take for granted. Once I had a few years of experience under my belt, I became a visiting instructor at Florida International University, teaching criminal justice courses to undergraduates. I became an assistant dean shortly thereafter and began my journey through the many challenging and rewarding academic and administrative positions I've held. It was there at FIU where I learned about public higher education and the challenges in making quality education accessible and affordable to first-generation students. Now, nearly 20 years later, I stand before you ready to work with you on educating the next generation of our students. Before we talk about our future, it is very important to respect, value, and honor our history. We are a young university, 54 years young, and the story of how we began and how fast we have evolved is unique. Our roots go back to 1929, when Fenn College grew out of local classes taught to citizens in the YMCA. In 1964, Fenn became the nucleus of the new Cleveland State University. By 1972, the campus had expanded from 9 acres and 3 buildings to over 27 acres and 4 new classroom and office buildings. During the early 2000s, we matured as an urban university. New academic programs, research initiatives, public service programs were added. Today, we are 500 faculty strong with 17,000 plus students, a thriving downtown campus of 85 acres, 10 colleges and schools, and more than 180 academic programs. This is an incredible success story, and we don't have any intention of slowing down. So the question I've been asked since the day I arrived, what comes next? As I engage our campus and city, investing time with our faculty, staff, students, trustees, and community, listening to ideas about how we can move forward, some common themes and core principles are emerging. This is what I've learned so far about our identity. 1, we are and always will be about putting students first. Every decision we have made and will make will be based upon the potential impact on our students. 2, we will always lead in providing affordable and accessible education to the largest number of students that we can. 3, we are a faculty of scholar teachers committed to the urban mission. We are students that have grit and energy and drive and ambition to fully achieve the American dream. And we are a staff who are devoted to supporting our faculty and students in their vital work. 4, we are an institution of incredible breadth, depth, and quality that belies our youth. And 5, we are a university and city of collaborations and partnerships. We draw strength from each other. Now, what about our values? Values that I embrace and commit to protect. Look no further than the Viking Creed, and you heard some of this in the oath I took. Practice personal and academic integrity. Commit to lifelong learning. Act with civility and treat all people fairly, respectfully, and with dignity. Embrace inclusion and diversity in all of its definitions. Respect individual freedoms of opinion and expression. And maybe most importantly, make a positive impact on our campus and community. So, how will we build upon our identity and promote our values in the future? First and foremost, we will advance our anchor institution principles to help propel the city of Cleveland and our region. We are already an anchor institution. Our campus is the city, and the city is the campus. 80% of our students graduate and stay in Northeast Ohio. No other four-year university, public or private, comes close to contributing what we do to Northeast Ohio's workforce. Our ability to transform lives through distinctive scholarship and engaged learning that rises from our symbiotic relationship with the city sets us apart from our peers and provides the kind of urban experience and connections that lead to post-college opportunities across the employment spectrum. Building on these principles means two things. One, increasing the number of local high school graduates who attend CSU, and two, doing everything in our power to ensure that they graduate once they enter our doors. To improve our reach and student success rates, we will double down on our work with local community college partners to establish new and enhanced college completion pathways. Thanks to work in recent years, we now have very good articulation agreements that allow for automatic transfer to CSU from our community college partners after 2 years. Nonetheless, we must do a better job getting students on a guided path earlier so that they progress with intentionality. To achieve this, we will increase our presence in high schools and on community college campuses. This includes me. I have already scheduled several visits to local high schools this fall. Nowhere is this added intentionality more needed than in the Cleveland Metropolitan School District, where CSU is the #1 four-year institutional destination. With the introduction of the Say Yes to Education program, which will make funds available to cover full tuition for all CMSD graduates, we will have an opportunity to collectively address the close to 1,000 students a year who currently graduate and don't attend college. Why is this important? And you heard some of this already today. Because social mobility is not just a buzzword at CSU. It is a living, breathing concept that has been nationally recognized by the Brookings Institution. We are number 18 in the nation among public universities for providing upward mobility and conducting impactful research. Streamlining cradle-to-career pathways that improve outcomes will also require us to further advance the excellent work that has been done over the past decade to increase our overall progression and graduation rates. We have made good headway, but there is much more work to do. To be successful, we will need to better integrate our student recruitment and retention efforts and invest in the kinds of retention support activities that work: summer immersion programs, mentoring programs, intrusive advising, success coaching, and what I call business intelligence, the ability to use state-of-the-art data systems and predictive analytics to tailor support services to student-specific needs. In addition to being an anchor institution, we will become a beacon institution, a first-choice destination for students outside our region, across Ohio, from other states and overseas. We are now a university of incredible depth and heft, one that offers first-rate programs in a wide range of academic disciplines that are on a par with those at more highly ranked institutions. An integral part of our enrollment focus will be on creating a new and aggressive student recruitment plan, one that will increase yield from high schools in our surrounding counties, explore opportunities to recruit international students, and, as mentioned before, enhance community college transfers. We will also explore opportunities for new students in continuing education and certificate programs across the academic spectrum. We're going to focus on market demand-driven fields such as information technology, healthcare, business, and engineering. In addition to being an anchor and a beacon, we will build out our concept of engaged learning as a distinctive educational experience that prepares students for the Northeast Ohio workforce. Engaged learning is a powerful idea that resonates with our urban mission. It connects classroom study with real-world experience, experiential learning, and civic participation. For us to further advance this concept and maximize its ability to attract more students, we must more clearly articulate engaged learning so that it is widely understood and can be broadly implemented throughout the university. Recently, I've had several robust discussions with faculty leaders on how to best do this, and I'm looking forward to having more. A top priority will be to expand CSU's co-op opportunities. Our goal is to guarantee that any student who wants a co-op experience at Cleveland State will get one at a company here in Northeast Ohio. We are uniquely positioned to make this a cornerstone of our growth strategy, and I am confident that Cleveland business leaders will step up and commit to a defined number of paid internships and co-ops for our talented students. Many have already. Next, we must strengthen our capacity as a community of scholars to provide regional leaders with ideas that foster urban revitalization, economic development, and public health. Research that can help drive policies are not limited to any one college. It can be done by scientists and engineers whose work supports technological innovation, by educators who study urban schools, by social scientists whose research informs social welfare policy and economic development work, and by healthcare professionals who are linked with some of the most distinguished providers in the world. And finally, we will foster an inclusive, collegial, and socially engaged academic community of faculty, staff, and students that serves as a cultural and intellectual center of gravity for metropolitan Cleveland. A critical early goal of mine is to strengthen the relationship between our administrators and the faculty so that mutual respect and trust drive our work on strategic priorities, many of which I've begun to outline today. Thank you. To give you some sense of where we are and who we are as an institution, I'd like to introduce the following examples of the best that CSU has to offer. First, we need look no further than Erica Betterson, our student trustee. Erica, where's Erica? Can you please stand? Erica, a junior here at Cleveland State, is a double major in environmental studies and urban planning. She's active in student government. She's a member of our Honors College and a student ambassador in the 1964 Society. She was also homeschooled along with 6 of her siblings, one of whom is a freshman here at CSU. And maybe most importantly, on my first day as president, she gave me a gift. And this is the gift she gave me. It's called Maxwell's Daily Reader. And for those of you who are not familiar with it, its purpose is to give you 365 days of insight to develop the leader within you and influence those around you. Today's reading is titled Refocus on the Mission. Thank you, Erica. Thank you. Then there is Dr. Valentine Berner. Where's Dr. Berner? Where is he? Where is he? Standing up? There he is. He's in the back. Dr. Berner is a researcher in our Center for Gene Regulation in Health Disease. His groundbreaking work was featured in Science, one of the most prestigious scientific publications in the world, was funded by a highly competitive $1.5 million R01 grant from the National Institutes of Health. Here's what he did. He led a multi-university team of researchers who, for the first time, determined how machinery in living cells that destroys proteins after they've completed their function affects central components of human conception. These findings shed new light on how cells work, with major implications for our understanding of how irregularities in cellular development lead to birth defects and cancer. His accomplishments highlight our commitment to academic and research excellence and represent the kind of cutting-edge research that attracts other talented faculty and students from around the world. Dr. Berner, we are so proud of you. And last but not least, there is Nidra Heyman. Where's Nidra? There you are. Nidra has been a library associate for the last 33 years at Cleveland State University. I saw Nidra eating alone in the Student Center one day, and I introduced myself. Once she learned I was president, she suggested that I look into replacing a sign outside of Rhodes Tower, which let people know where Rhodes Tower West is. She said the sign had been broken for some time, and she spent a good part of her day, right, telling people where Rhodes Tower West was. So this gave me the idea for the One Thing campaign, where we asked our campus community to let us know the one thing we could do to make their lives better. 300 suggestions later, we've been able to do many things that I do believe make our campus better. So thank you, Nidra, for reminding us that little things matter, and yes, we replaced the sign. So, as we build our CSU of tomorrow, it is clear that our future will be defined, no surprise, by our people. That is why we chose the theme of today's celebration as Forward Together. Together, we will define our own future and not let the future define us. Together, we will expand our reach as both anchor and beacon, working to grow our already impressive brand. Together, we will continue to serve our community with our unique mix of high-quality, affordable, and accessible academic programs that transform lives. Together, we will create tomorrow's campus experience so that future students can experience the full impact of engaged learning. Together, we will build a best-in-class research and teaching university known for its groundbreaking cradle-to-career programs that expand the boundaries of academic creativity and innovation. And together, we will nurture and grow the incredible bond between our faculty, staff, and students. That's what makes CSU so special. Let's dream big. together. Thank you.
We invite Mr. Jones and the chorale to come forward. Would everyone stand and join Mr. Matthew Jones and the Cleveland State University Chorale in singing the Cleveland State University alma mater? The words are printed in the program.
Near the shores of great Lake Erie, grand for all to view, proudly stands our alma mater, noble CSU. Lift our voices, join the chorus, till our work is through. Hail to thee, our alma mater, hail, all hail, CSU.
Please remain standing at your seats until members of the platform party and ceremony participants exit the auditorium for the academic recessional. The academic recessional will proceed to the Student Center. Everyone is invited to join the President in the recessional march and for the celebration reception. Dr. Bowman.
I declare this investiture ceremony to be concluded.